Again, my name is Greg Cook, retired Air Force Colonel. I was actually born in beautiful downtown Burbank, California. More years ago than I like to think about, coming up on the double nickel 55. But my family didn't stay in California for very long. My family sort of wandered around the West Coast for a few years, and at the age of 6, we moved to Oregon. And lived in a tent trailer for about 9 months. So, I look back at those days and say, I had a great time camping with my family, but now people look at it and say, hey, you guys were homeless. And I go, no, we had a home, we had a tent, come on, now I focus my life in a much bigger tent. I actually operate out of a hangar in an airport in North Idaho. So it's a giant tent. And from there I work and I play, and I have a Margaritaville bar set up, and I actually have an airplane in there too that I try to afford to fly, every once in a while, and try to engage in a lot of activities. But anyway, what I'm going to here to talk to you about a little bit is about leadership and a thing called Ving. And I have books out forthcoming in both of these things, so thanks to the encouragement of people like Viki and Pam and others here, and seminars such as this. You learn a lot about life, and you learn about things by doing. And one of my number one rules in life for anything is what you've done today. Show up. You just got to show up. Show up for life. Show up for family events, show up for professional events. You got to show up for work. You got to show up for certain things, but you got to show up. And the second rule is you got to be present. Be here in this moment. Be here today. Don't be thinking about what's going on out there in the world, because there's all kinds of stuff going out there every day. But the point is we're all here today at this moment together, and it's the only time that this group of people, all of us, will be here in one time and place together. You think about it, that's kind of profound. And so by being present here today and making the most of today and meeting everybody and building the relationships, you really have a chance to really learn and grow exponentially by being here. Yesterday's gone. Now we've learned from it and we've experienced and all of that. And tomorrow's coming, but it's not here yet. So I always like to say you live for today with an eye for tomorrow. To be thinking about tomorrow, planning and strategy and worry and anxiety and all of those things that we deal with every day, right? So I'm going to share a little philosophy with you, because I've become a philosopher in my old age, but I'm also a teacher and an instructor, and I'd like to maybe show you some ways that you can enhance your own lives and reach some of your goals, because those are the things that I do. And I had this clicker and I put it down. So let's see here. All right, well, there you go. Well, here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey to get here, and it's been a long one in different ways, but it's been an amazing life experience. As I said, my family was very poor, and we struggled deeply economically, but my parents were happy-go-lucky dreamers, and they gave us a lot of love, and all 4 of us children ended up, not being in prison or jail or criminals yet, and or we haven't gotten caught, one of those things. I'm not sure. I'm sort of a pirate and a rogue, and I tend to get out there, take little risks here and there. But I've managed to survive all these things, and that was part of my nature in terms of joining the military. But we landed in Oregon for a few years, and then eventually ended up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Anybody ever been to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho out there? Beautiful place, isn't it? God's country, I like to call it. It's like Switzerland in America. And my family happened to land there, into a loving community with a big heart. Coeur means heart in French. Coeur d'Alene means heart of an all, which is pointed heart. And I like to say Coeur d'Alene is the heart of us all, because it's got a really wonderful heart-based community, and that community nurtured my family. And we, again, continued through tough times, but we are embraced by church and community and schools and people around us, and never underestimate the influence that each one of us has on other people. And who we surround ourselves with is really an important part of our lives. Who do you expose yourself to? You're exposing yourself today with this great parade of speakers and wonderful people who are also providing you with resources and opportunities. And some of you are professionals, have been doing this for a long time, and you're all set, and you're in command of your business. Others are seeking something. You want to grow, you want to thrive, you want something more. You're striving for something, right? So that's kind of, what communities do for us. I was kind of I'm one of those people that's, I think, a born leader. And when I say that, it's only because I just totally go for it. I engage my community. I engage with people. I love talking to people. I just love being alive. I love being out there. And to me, that's sort of a natural recipe for just being a leader in life. And so it's just the way I was. People say, you're a leader. I go, how did you get there? Were you taught? I don't know. I'm just being Greg. This is just who I am. I smile all the time. People give me a bunch of grief because I'm always smiling, you know, because I'm always having fun. Because guess what? I showed up. I'm living in that moment, and I'm really enjoying it. Because the sun, look outside. The sun is shining. Turn on the news. The world's coming to an end. But every morning I get up. If I don't turn on the news, guess what? The sun's shining, or if it's raining, then the plants are getting watered. You know, and if it's snowing, then gosh, I can go skiing. You know, there's always a silver lining. Always look for the silver lining. And keeping that positive attitude helps you get through the tough times, because it helps you to persevere and it makes you more resilient. And you're always looking for what you want, not avoiding what you don't want. There's another one of Greg's rules. You can write this down, little bits of philosophy. Have you ever heard of the law of attraction? Anybody out there? Yeah, probably most of you, right? And it's about putting positive thoughts out there in the universe and attracting those things to you is the general rule. But I will tell you, if you put negative thoughts out there, you're going to attract negativity into your life as well, okay? And I see lots of heads nodding out there because I think we all see that. I believe in a concept called serendipity. I even had a boat I named Serendipity because I so strongly believe in it. And it's about fate and circumstance, going on a journey, and things happen to you along the way, and nothing went as planned. But things, in the end, turned out better than planned. But you know what that results from? That's not chance. That's a result of a positive attitude and looking for silver linings. So even when you go through bad times, you learn from it. And when you go through good times, having a positive attitude just makes it that much better. Because you're having fun and you're enjoying life. And if you're having a bad day, guess what? This day is going to end and tomorrow's going to happen. Okay? And so, you know, get over yourself. Pick yourself up. Quit worrying about what other people think. Quit worrying in general, because most of the things you're worrying about are not going to happen. And so here's the rule. Here's the gem. I forgot to get to the gem. Think about what you want and work for that. And you will attract those things in your life, because your subconscious will attach onto that, and you will start seeing the things that you want, and you will pull them and incorporate them into your ways of being, into your daily life. Now let's look at the opposite. Don't think about what you don't want, because you may attract those in your life as well. And I think about sickness. If I wake up in the morning and I got the sniffles, I got a little runny nose, you know, I can sit there and go, oh gosh, I'm sick. I'm going to stay in bed, I'm going to get soup, and I'm going to take drugs, and I'm going to watch TV, and I'm going to miss this day because I'm going to focus on sickness. And guess what? And usually when I do that, I get sicker, actually, you know, because I'm just sitting there kind of focusing on my sickness. And the rest of the time, I just get up and say, I don't have time to be sick. I'm going for it, you know. So I get up and I select some coffee. I may still take a decongestant, but I hop out there and I just go for it. And all that activity and breathing and engagement just makes me feel better anyway. Even if my nose is still running, it doesn't bother me because I'm still living that day. So just an example how you can focus on the positive or focus on the negative, and that's what's going to drive your day. And you can take that in a larger sense and think that's how it's going to drive my life as well, okay? So think about that. So, you know, I was a leader kid. I was actively involved in school. My family couldn't afford to send me to college, but I was an overachiever. Always have been, always will be. And it's because I work harder and longer, and I'm more focused, and I just keep going, keep on trucking, soldiering on. That's what the military tells you. Just keep on soldiering. And so I got scholarships, full scholarships to go to the University of Idaho. It was the only way I was going to go. And my family was so poor that I was eligible for grants. And then I drank a lot of beer, so I had to take out student loans. And but I managed to end up in Moscow, Idaho, as a freshman in the fall of 1979. Anybody remember what happened in the fall of 1979? The Iran hostage crisis erupted, okay? I had just registered for the draft. I was 18 years old. I did not want to charge beaches or fight my way up and down hills. And I loved thrill rides. I loved to go to the carnival and ride the craziest, the zipper and the hammer and all those old school rides, the rockleplane, and I just loved G-forces and gravity. And I said, you know, I'm going to go in the Air Force. I'm going to join the Air Force because I want to fly jets. Just sounds like fun. I'd never even been in an airplane in my life. But I was going to fly jets in the military, and I was going to fly all over the world, and I was going to, you know, go save the country, the world on my own. And in fact, my first flight ever was when I was 19 years old on an ROTC cadet orientation at Fairchild Air Force Base in Spokane, Washington. And there were 3 of us. I tossed the coin. I won the toss. I got to sit in the jump seat between the 2 pilots, taking off in a military jet in my first flight ever. I was sold. Okay, I was good. It was good. And later on, actually, 19 years later, I actually was assigned to Fairchild Air Force Base, flying tankers there. And I don't know if I flew the same airplane, but if I could have flown the same airplane that I got my first ride in, I wish I knew what the tail number was, because I'd love to find out if that's true or not. So I spent 22 years on active duty. I joined ROTC, applied for pilot training, got commissioned upon graduation, had a job waiting for me, and they sent me off and taught this political science major how to fly jets. And so I used right brain and left brain, had an amazing career, spent half that career flying. I flew Lear jets for my country, flying VIPs around. I flew jumbo C-5 Galaxy jumbo jets all over the world, delivering cargo, ships and bombs and food and beer, and actually even brought some of our fallen warriors home. And that's a tough thing to do, no matter where. And so, as I'd like anybody in the audience today who has served in our military forces to please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Thank you for your service. And I will tell you, the military touches every one of our lives, because every single one of us has a family member that's been in the military, a neighbor, or someone in our community, and thankfully today we are supporting our warriors, and they're putting their lives on the edge every day. And whether you support the policies that go behind it, we support our people who are putting themselves in harm's way. And thank you for that as a citizen and someone who's been on the receiving end of a lot of that too. We've seen some of our homeboys, our boys come home in North Idaho and in boxes. And it's a very hard thing for any community, for any family. And I'm adamantly opposed to war as a policy tool. And yet, as a warrior, I seek to find diplomacy and peace and other ways to do that. And so that's one of the points of my writing. And then, so I retired 10 years ago. Actually, I spent 3 tours in the Pentagon. I worked for 4-star generals and chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and secretaries of defense. I was exposed to amazing, amazing people. Surround yourself by amazing people and you will learn from them. And hopefully emulate some of their greatness. And that's been one of my goals in life. And today I'm still involved with many of these people and some of my private associations and some of my volunteer work. And in fact, I'm going this week, I'm going to Orlando to the Airlift Tanker Association National Convention, where we pass on what we've learned to the next generation of airmen who are serving today. And it's just it's one of my great causes, and I love it. You can't give enough back. And the more you give, the more you're going to receive. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So, so for that past 10 years, I've been doing coaching and consulting, and I have in-command leadership and strategy and planning, and I've got all these fancy graphics and logos and those kinds of things. And my bigger picture, because I believe in vision boards and all of that, and a few years ago I said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to create a bigger picture, because I'm a global guy. I'm a world guy, and I decided Global Greg is, Global G Enterprises, and I'm a diplomat and a gentleman, so we look at it, it ends up being Global Gent. I'm a global gentleman, and I hope to share that kind of stuff with you. I do my own promotions and that sort of thing, and I help other people with it, and so I play with graphics and do those kinds of things, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But the thing that I'm really working on now, and this is just basically a small little turn pager that I'm working on. It's a little philosophical book called Ving, and it's perspectives on living and being to help you find inner peace and achieve victory. Because this is a peace sign, and this is about winning, isn't it? And if you put both of them up, then you look like Richard Nixon in his farewell address. But I love it because it's so powerful. Symbolism is so powerful in our lives. And so look at these things and all of that. And Ving are just a bunch of words that end in Ving. And I find that they are about how we live. What we believe and how we perceive impacts the way that we act, how we behave, okay? So these are Ving words. And then I think about what we do every day. Every day we're blessed to be alive. So living is what we do every day. As biological beings, we have to survive every day. So we're surviving, and survival is defined in many, many different ways. Many, many different ways. And in order to survive, what do? We drive. We go to work, we do laundry, we take care of kids, we do all these activity-driven things every day, right? Plus, we drive. We get in cars and we go places. But driving is what we do every day to kind of manage our lives. And there have been estimates that say 97% of our life is spent doing activity-driven things, like I just said. Doing dishes, you know, getting dressed, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, going to the doctor, doing whatever you do, you know. And so how do you get beyond that and do bigger things? And I think that's about striving, to go above and beyond the daily grind of activities, to do other things. And that's why you're all here today, because you're striving to do something. And in the end, when you do all these things, let's hope that we're thriving. In a nutshell, this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, in a nutshell, okay? That's how you get to the top of the pyramid. We all want to thrive. And thanks to Viki and crew here, I joined their book project called Ready, Aim, Thrive, and just released this week, as she mentioned, and it's going really well, and it really fits into what I talk about all the time. You got to ready yourself. You got to practice. You got to practice. You got to practice. And you're going to fall down. You're going to get up. You're going to keep going, and then you're going to succeed. And then you're going to have to learn it all over again and try it all over again. So ready yourself. Aim high. Plan and strategize to win, and then you will thrive in the end. A couple more Ving words, and then I'm off the stage. Because you can't live on this world just alone. You have to relate to others, and we're in a community of people. And so military service is about just that, serving others. And the more that you serve others, the more that you receive, the more that you give, the more that you receive. Because what do we add value to? We talk about money and things and houses and all that, but the things that we value the most we can't measure. Love and hope and happiness and relationships. You can't measure those things, but what do we spend our lives doing? Earning money and doing all those kinds of things. What if you spent your life developing relationships and giving to people and serving people? And in the end, that puts money back in your pocket because that produces goodness in your life. And all that value results from it. And then to me, loving is just a way of being that is everything. And the world around us is revolving all the time. It's revolving like crazy. There's revolutions. There's all this kind of stuff. It's always revolving. And as biological beings, it's Darwinism. I call it, you know, Darwinism. But what do we have to do to survive? We have to adapt. We have to evolve. We have to adapt to our environment every day, and we're actually traveling through environments every day. And we manage to survive them by driving and doing things, but we got to eat, we got to do all those things, all these Ving words we got to do every day, no matter where we're at and what we're doing. So take that into account and think about how you're evolving, and then how do you center yourself within that? And I call it being in command, getting in the zone, finding your center, the things that you value, which guide your conduct every day. Write them down, focus on them, and then you will incorporate them into your ways of being, and you'll be successful. And if I could help you by coaching you and sharing things with you, I have some promotional materials, and I'm starting a course here in a few weeks. It's the first course out of the book, and I would like to help you, any of you, all of you, some of you, to survive. I'm taking 10 students, and that's it, because I'm dedicating a lot of personal time to coaching and individual development and helping people find their way. So thank you for your time today, and I look forward to seeing more of you around the room. Thank you.